Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be kind of just a opinion piece, stream of consciousness thing. I did a video very similar to this, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, where I kind of posed the question: when do we stop seeing our favorite bands? Now, I'm not getting into the argument of is somebody too old to perform? That's something completely different and something I completely disagree with. I think as long as an artist wants to perform, they should do it as long as it's of their own free will and it's not management pushing them to do something simply for management gaining money. Talking to you, Frankie Valli. Anyway, the announcement just came this morning. It's the 11th of August, 2026. And there was some minor news for a couple different things that really jumped in my brain. The first was ZZ Top has announced that Frank Beard, the drummer, pretty much an original member, he was with them from really the beginning, has decided to step away from touring, at least for the rest of this current tour. Now, he had removed himself from the band 2 or 3 other times within a 17-month period for health. One time it was something that needed to happen with his foot. Obviously, he's a drummer, so he used the feet for the kick drum and the hi-hat. He needed to step away for that. Replacement came in. He came back. ZZ Top, as you know, their most common lineup, their most famous lineup was Billy Gibbons, Dusty Hill, and Frank Beard. Now, we lost Dusty a few years ago, but ZZ Top decided to continue on with Frank, Billy, and their guitar tech named Elwood, who had the whole ZZ Top beard and look about him. So he took up Dusty Hill's bass playing parts. Now, what is interesting, and we can go into nitty gritty about ZZ Top and other bands. ZZ Top has already kind of come under fire for some lip syncing allegations when they're performing a lot of their songs. If you listen to songs like Legs, they're really just using the 80s track. Like it's like, you have Billy Gibbons talk, and then all of a sudden he's mouthing the words to the radio version of Legs. But they've announced that they'll continue without Frank. And what's interesting, and again, this goes into the whole, you have an original member, blah, blah, blah. The thing in particular with ZZ Top is that Billy Gibbons has his own solo project, and he's toured as Billy Gibbons. He's put out albums under his name and plays smaller kind of theater venues. But now it's Billy Gibbons with 2 other guys, but there's ZZ Top. So the question is, does he continue as ZZ Top with these guys and then also as Billy Gibbons with his other band? Or does this tour finish after the contracts have been finalized, and is it just, Billy Gibbons plays ZZ Top? I don't know. My guess is that they would continue as ZZ Top without Frank Beard, sadly. I think that is a disservice to the fans. I know that there are the casual fans that they just want to hear, You Got Me Under Pressure, and She Got Legs, and Sharp Dressed Man, and Tush. That's all they want to hear. They don't care about anything else. The video that I made a few years ago, I specifically pointed out Foreigner as being culprit number 1. And now that, Lou Gramm has not been in the touring version of Foreigner for a couple decades, Mick Jones has had some health procedures and some issues where he's not able to tour anymore. He's pretty much just he's a member, but he's not a touring member, but kind of oversees the Foreigner name. Foreigner is getting to the point where they're replacing their replacement members. So not only do you not have anybody on the stage that played a note on a Foreigner song, you've got guys that are taking up the spots for the guys that have been in the touring band for 20 years. So I am of the opinion where I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. I know you can say the same thing about groups like Styx with Tommy Shaw and JY. You can also say the same thing about Journey with Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain. And it's a very frustrating part of these legacy type bands that are pressing on. One of the other unfortunate things that I read was Grand Funk Railroad, who has not consisted of the original three guys for, again, a couple decades now, said that their lead singer, who has been with them for, I think, since 2000, he has stepped away from the band. And so now Don Brewer, the drummer, who sang on a lot of the Grand Funk Railroad songs and hits, him and their longtime keyboard player are taking up vocal duties. And it's just fascinating that, again, the replacement guys are now leaving the bands and these original guys are holding on. I mean, I saw a video of Grand Funk from May where you've got Don and Mel playing, and Mel just looks like he does not want to be there at all playing the bass. He doesn't look happy. It's weird. The other one that I saw this morning was that Chicago, the group Chicago, announced more dates. And again, they only have now one original member in the band, and he's the trombone player. He's one of the horn players. Robert Lamb is no longer in the group the last couple of years. I think he's going to still record if they ever record, but he's not wanting to tour. I mean, he's in his 80s. Peter Cetera has not been in the group for a long time either. And yet Chicago, with one of the original horn players, is continuing to tour. I find that frustrating, and I know I'm going to have people in the comments say, well, it's about the music. People want to hear the music. I'm all for it. I'm not somebody that likes to go to tribute shows or anything like that, but there is a market, and these tribute artists have a niche audience, and people go to those shows. And some of those tribute artists play 4, 5, 6,000 people amphitheaters. So there is a market for it. Lots of them come to this area. There's a Fleetwood Mac, there's a Pink Floyd, there's a Tom Petty. The Beatles have a bunch of them. I've seen an ELO one. I've seen a Van Morrison one. Elvis ones are obviously all over the place. So you can hear the music. You can go to any, restaurant guitar player and they're going to play the music. It's not about that. It's about the advertising to the fans that here's Chicago, here's, ZZ Top, when it's really just a bunch of guys who are making money for the families of these members or for these members that can no longer tour. I don't know. It's one of the age-old questions in the music community. I've talked about it a bunch. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on all this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.